Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Durham College is proud to acknowledge the lands of the people of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, which is covered under the Williams Treaty. Durham College is situated on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Greater Anishinaabe Nation, which includes Algonquin, Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi. Now we ask you to please rise if able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
And welcome everyone to the CRWC Men's OCAA Volleyball action. Live here at Durham College, we got the Lords taking on the Canadore Panthers. Second part of this doubleheader here. The women played just before 3-1 the Lords in that one. Got a little bit of a showing here. How are you feeling about this one, Eric?
Yeah, you know, I'm excited to see how the Lords bounce back after, I'd say, underwhelming alumni day yesterday against a tough team. You know, Canadore is not going to back down, and they won 3-0 last time, actually, these two teams faced. So it'll be a good one.
Say last. Go ahead.
No. I'm all good.
Last time these two teams played, October 26th, the second game of the year. And like you said, Canadore walked away with a healthy victory there, of course, back in North Bay.
A lot of things changed, though, since October 26th, so we'll see how Durham comes out this time.
Will Doucette opens it up. Canadore quick on the attack, and an opening point shot there. Sean Mallerby opening up this one with a big shot. This one, Mason Begg. The Canadore bench lively, of course, to start us off. Begg clears it. Shot, that one's Owen Lund, pushes it to the back court. Doesn't stay there very long, sneaks past him and overhead.
Yeah, Canadore have a lot of big bodies. Number 15, as you saw there, Halen Atlas just put that one down. He's 6'9". Previous play, Sean Mallerby, he's 6'8", so it's going to be tough for the Lords to deal with that.
Well, Durham, they only have three players who are above that 6'4" mark, and just as a quick glance, I count at least 5 from Canadore.
Yeah, it's a tall task, you know.
And both teams quick to play. Lund, smart play, goes for a little bit of a tip, sends it down. And a point to Durham.
Height isn't everything, though, as you see right there from Owen Lund. Excellent play.
Liam Gould.
Somebody let out a shriek in the crowd on that service.
Trying to scare off the Lords there, I guess. Was that like an Aztec death whistle or something? Like, what was going on?
I think it might have been a volleyball player from the women's team on Canada. I don't know.
They're just having a great time over there. Thought someone died. Apparently not. Halen Edel is the good serve. And a little tip there, Jonas Felix. Durham knows that they don't have that same net presence as this Canadore Panthers squad. Opting to play for a little bit more defensive. They're playing more defensive, more reactive. They're not necessarily trying to win the blocks, especially when you have Will Doucette out in the backcourt, you know, tallest player standing at 6'7". So you got to play around it as best you can.
Yeah, Jonas Felix has crazy bunnies, so he's going to have to have an impact.
Pancake and back-to-back misplays there from Doucette.
Yeah, good job there from Jonas Felix. He got the pancake to go. Doucette, just reaction time wasn't there fully.
And that one, Jonas Felix again. They're going to keep setting him up. He's going to keep trying to knock him down. And out of the backcourt, big shot there. That one, who else? That one's Liam Gould. The rookie starting to carve his way into some meaningful playing time now.
Yeah, we didn't see much Liam Gould yesterday, but today maybe coach opting to go for a different look. We saw a lot of Shane Polion yesterday compared to Liam Gould.
And into the net, sent right back. Point to Durham, 3-5. The advantage for the Panthers. Durham going to be fighting an uphill battle here. Even if you're just looking at the records themselves, Durham 5-4, Canadore 7-3. And another point to the Panthers.
That was Khalid Bryant. Excellent job. He floated up there and got it at the climax and put it straight down. When they get at the climax, it's kind of hard to deal with there.
Sean Mallerby. Nice serve there. It's Felix off. Rung his bell. Khalid Bryant there got smoked.
Yeah, he got stunned. It was like getting hit with a stun grenade in Call of Duty. It was unlucky there from Khalid.
Big set to try and give it an opportunity. Free ball instead coming out from the Panthers. And another one. Felix loses the joust. Doucette overdoes that one. Durham 3-2 at home. Canadore, they're spooky on the road. They're 5-1.
Wow, you don't see that often. Typically, it's the other way around: 2-2 at home and 5-1 on the road. Definitely a special record, as they miss that serve.
Good call from Jonas Felix and Ravi Hunter. Those two work together there, agree on the call, goes out, and they weave around it just in time. Felix has had some monster hits so far. Looking for a big serve. Got all the power. Big block, Doucette. Punched over. Ravi Hunter, the first touch. Will Doucette, the shot sent right back. Hello, Mason Begg. First year out of Uxbridge. What a shot. Bryant, clean serve. To the outside. They're going to give that one to Canadore. Both sides pointing who made contact with the net.
Yeah, definitely looked like Liam Gould high-fived the entire net there.
Bryant lining up for it again, little floater. Set back, set, Doucette sent right back.
Wow.
Mason Begg, holy cow. Doucette has a 7-inch height advantage on him, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, Doucette's been blocked. That's not even the first time this set. Oh my goodness.
By the same guy, no less.
Sidney Stewart, I've seen him. He's been wanting to be set up a couple of times, so maybe Jalen Arias can look for Sidney Stewart in the middle there.
And once again, Liam Gould. He's got it. And out to serve, Sidney Stewart. Stewart, nothing but net. You know, usually a good call here around Durham, but this time not so much the case.
Yeah, maybe if we were looking at the basketball court right now. Quick service.
Trying to catch Durham off guard, and Durham seems to have flipped the script on that one. Owen Lunn.
Yeah, I don't know if all of Canadore was on the same page there, ready for that quick serve, because the Lords put it right back over quick, and it sort of looked like they were out of position a little there.
Doucette. First touch, second, third. This one's Gould, and return to sender again.
Yeah, that time the 6'9" Halen Atlas. Not much you can do. It's going to be tough to get by him all day long.
He's had a great few opening points here. This is Mason Begg once again. And off the block and out. Good shot there from Jonas Felix. And serving here, Liam Gold. And Canadore tracked that all the way till it was gone. And 14-8 the score. Canadore starting to run away with this one almost.
Durham, Dwayne Cochran doesn't like to call too many timeouts. Jonas Felix is blocked there, but point to the Lords.
He's happy to let his team play through. He's recruited some on-court leaders over the years, of course, and looking to make the most of it.
Yeah, you got Jalen Arias. He's an excellent leader at the center position nonetheless. You love what he can do calming down his boys.
Big set off the block. Felix opts out of the hit, goes for the joust, and encroach there. Went over the top, reach just a touch too far over into Canadore's side.
Yeah, unlucky there from Jonas Felix. Those are always tough to read, whether they're coming over or not. 6-point game. Durham's got to settle in here.
Big shot, return, Felix. Arias. Gould sneaks it under and through. Durham down 5. It's Jalen Arias taking his turn behind the service line.
Thought that one was going long. Bryant
Big blocked.
Wow.
Ravi Hunter. Jonas Felix. He's got it. Back corner. Caught that Canadore squad creeping up a little bit and left that near side back corner exposed. And it was lights out. He's going to find that every time. Arias. Kept alive. It's Felix again. Tip supports there.
Encroachment again.
I don't know about that one, but I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I think that was more of a 50-50 ball. You know, let the boys play, but we are not professional referees here, so. Sydney Stewart finally gets set up, but blocked by Bryant. Wow. Canadore bench loving that.
Man, that one overdone.
Jonas Felix, excellent service.
Can they get away with it? Canadore puts it over. Doucette. Give it to him. Finally beats his demons on this Canadore side and sneaks past Mason Begg. Jonas Felix. And a triple block commit from Durham. And Gould opting for the free. you would have made a solid argument that that was a double touch just based on how that ball was spinning.
Yeah, but what a play earlier on right there. The dig from Ravi Hunter. I don't know how he got to that. Unlucky, though, the Lords did not get the point on that play.
Bryant. Set to set. Tip kept alive. Put over. Back set shot. And he's got it again. Sean Mallerby.
I got a feeling he's going to be a problem all game long.
Khaled Bryant to serve. Clears it. Jonas Felix. Hello and goodbye. Like I was saying at the start, he has so much power behind that windup. Yeah. Dual sport athlete, got baseball in there as well. So you know he's got that power for the swing.
Sidney Stewart, yeah, he's had a rough time this weekend serving the ball.
Well, it's back-to-back opportunities behind the line that have gone into the net.
Yeah, and he had 2 or 3 yesterday. So I don't know, maybe just something going through his head right now. He just needs to refocus and he'll be all right.
Owen Lund stuffed at the net, rolls out of play. Will Doucette taking his turn now. Reels himself in, fires. Good response, Canadore puts it up, over, set, break back, tip through into the pot. That one, Sean Mallerby once again, he's got it.
Just the sheer height and length allows him to get to that play right there.
And welcome to the court, Jack Hendry. Another first year for Durham. Mason Begg. Rips that one. Up and lucky that they're going to get a second chance at that, but back-to-back blocks down the middle.
That was Conrad Sedlek. Wow. Back-to-back blocks. There was a little miscommunication on the previous hit where Owen Lund thought he was going to go for it. Liam Gould ended up having to just bump it up. Liam Gould called for this one. Didn't get it. Unlucky. Miscommunication.
That one there just a little bit too high. Jack Hendry not quite as tall as Will Doucette. So maybe got a little lost. You know, can't hit a ball that's a 1.5 feet above his head.
Felix is floating there.
He's got such vertical. And that one rolls back over.
Yeah, that's hard to deal with if you're the Lords. What a hit. Sean Mallerby yet again.
And Ravi Hunter smoked on that one, goes into the Durham Medical Supplies.
This is set point right here.
A chance to finish him off for Begg, and he's got it. Mason Begg, what an opener. And this Canadore squad is coming out guns blazing.
Yeah, Lords just need to regroup and somehow find a way to deal with those big bodies. You don't see a 6'8" guy moving like that with the hops and the strength. So it's going to be tough. Maybe you just need to make an adjustment or two here.
Last time these two teams played, of course, you got to remember, all the way back in October, there's been some roster changes, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
but it was 21 points for Durham in the first, of course, lost. 20 points for Durham in the second, lost, and 22 in the third. So the fact that they made it only to 15 that time around, not quite pretty.
Yeah, it shows a big improvement on Canadore's. And a minute left right now. It was a good first set, you know, a lot of back and forward, and just excited. T-shirt toss. Hey, if you want to come visit us down at the CRWC, there's going to be plenty of game left. You know, I could see this going 5 sets. 2 very good teams.
Durham always the opportunity to push that envelope just a little bit further. And they have to. Right now they're sitting just above 500. Just above 500 there. You don't want to get knocked down to exactly 500. Of course, Durham going to have a couple more games crammed into the back half of this schedule, considering we had an extra week of our winter break here compared to, I think, every other school in the OCAA.
Yeah.
So
when you look at the standings, all the games, Seneca, they have 11 played. And, like, I think Georgian, they have 11 played as well. You look at the Lords, we only have 9 played. So coming up on your 10th game right here. So there's going to be a couple games crammed in there. Scheduling is a little bit weird, huh?
I mean, you're forced to essentially make up all those extra games. It also screws with other teams across the OCAA, but they're also more rested for these Durham games.
Yeah.
Is the counter to that.
Yeah, you know, fatigue is a very big thing, I feel like, in these OCAA sports. What's nice about volleyball is, you know, you play like every weekend, really. So you get like 5, sometimes even 6 days off.
Both teams just getting settled here, sorting out our rotations. And Canadore good to go. Durham approved just previous. Crowd still showing. They're still here.
Yeah, I believe it's the 17U Durham Attack boys team out here. So they got the drums. They're going to bring the noise here in this second set.
Spencer Corsta. Overdone. Good read there from Liam Gould.
Yeah, definitely 50-50. He waited last second to avoid that.
He was reaching for that for a good long while. Comes back. And big shot. You know, Felix and Corsa just kind of agreed there. You know what? We're gonna play a 24-point set here.
Yeah, just, you know, giving each other some leeway there. And you should see the reaction from the Canadore bench. I watched them kick a field goal due to that miss.
And wow. Just hung up there was Halen Edels. And nice roll there. Coming out of Begg, and Begg goes diving but doesn't get what he's looking for. And a point to Durham off a great shot. Shane Polion looking in here. And that one sneaks past both Arias and Felix.
Yet again, Sean Mallerby, it's going to be tough.
Well, a little bit of a lineup change rather from the Lords. Last time we saw Sydney Stewart starting in that middle spot. This time around, it's going to be Shane Polion, and another point to Durham.
Yeah, one person we haven't seen a lot for the Lords this weekend has been Chris Dean, the 6'6" middle from Dunbarton High School. But we haven't seen him much, so and what a tip. Looked like a miscommunication there, but still worked out in Canadore's favor.
Mallerby. Nothing but net. This time it was the Durham Lords women's team who got a little bit noisy there. I swear I heard another scream.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Got to support your school here, and that's what the Durham Lords women's team does so well.
Gould, no good on that one. I swear at least 2/3 of Canadore's points have come off Durham errors.
Yeah, and if you're Durham, you got to hone those in. You can't be just giving them free points. Wow.
And not often making mistakes. Ravi Hunter has that one slip through his hands there.
Yeah, Ravi coming out of Manitoba in his 3rd year. That's an atypical mistake from him. As he gets that bump right there.
Set up to Arias. It's Felix. They're going to call him on a net contact. Conrad Sedlick.
Little confusion there in the arena announcer. She does a terrific job all the time.
And another one overdone from Canadore.
Just another mistake from one of the two teams. I feel as though there's only been like 2 or 3 in-play points.
Service error, service error.
And then you got a net violation. It's sloppy right now from both teams. They need to both get it better.
And that one goes out. You know, I'm not too keen on an error fest, but points are points.
7-6, I believe, for the Lords.
That one kept alive. Not for long. Eight to 6, the advantage. And kept up. Canadore trying to get that one out of play. And Gould got a point there.
So the real score is actually 8-7 for the Lords. Some confusion going on in this arena. But I think we got it all settled out. Owen Lund on the service here. Another service error.
Khaled Bryant clears it, no problem. Arias sets up Jonas Felix. He's got another. That roaming shot, we saw a lot of it from from the women's team early on. And that would be Jesse Buck, who kept rolling over to that far side and smoking it. This time around is Jonas Felix. He's been a key feature of the offense so far.
Yeah, the difference between Jesse Buck, as we see another service error, the difference between Jesse Buck and Jonas Felix is going typically to his offhand, where Jesse Buck likes to, like, he's going in the opposite direction. Jesse Buck, she likes to spank it downwards, where Jonas Felix has to turn his body on those little overlapping runs.
Gould sets it. Possibility, good. Great tip there, Shane Polion.
And the in-arena scream proved like it worked as Jonas Felix, another service error.
Brutal, brutal. I feel like it has to be at least 14 of these points have been service errors across both teams.
Yeah, it's been honestly just a sloppy set from both teams.
That serve kept in play this time, and it's Gould across the court. Set to the far side, tries to get it, sneaks off the top of the block and off Ravi Hunter. And another one there. That one's Conrad Sedlick once again. Mason Begg. Standing at 6 foot, remember, first year out of Uxbridge. Had a great first set. Looking to clean it up there. And shot, roll out of the far side. Doucette sets up Gould.
What a dig there.
One touch comes back to Durham. Ravi Hunter. The response chipped. And a bad read from Durham. Not quite able to get the contact they're looking for. And it's Mason Begg to serve again. Canadore on a run. Gould blocked. Great dig, sets up, sent back. Arias. Hunter. Gould. Missed roll, maybe a little bit. Not quite sure if that was just a miss on depth perception or maybe just court awareness. Thought he was a little closer to the net than he was.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Couldn't tell you what happened there. Unlucky there from Liam Gould.
And pancake good there from Gould, but an even better serve from Mason Begg and a timeout forced out of the Lords.
Yeah, that's the perfect serve, honestly. It grazes the net a little, confuses the defense. Lords almost got to it with a pancake there, just unlucky though.
Had that initial contact, but really didn't get too much else. Another 20 seconds on this timeout here.
Just gonna check in on the Humber and Fanshawe game right now.
Humber up 1-0 in that one. And a quick checkup over in Sudbury for Niagara and Boreal. And Niagara up 2-1 in that.
A little bit of a closer game in the men's side. Boreal was smoked the women's team by the Niagara women's team.
Doucette off the tip. And can't hit the floor fast enough with Shane Polion.
2 blocks there from Halen Etlis. tough to deal with. Hendry's going to check in for Will Doucette. And it seems like Jack Hendry is one of the crowd's favorite players. They always give him a nice little roar when he checks into the game.
And he's still going back there once again was Begg. And that's Gould. Hit returned. And hits that outside of his palm, and he's got another one. It's Sean Mallerby. And another great serve. First touch response has to go over. And Begg salvages that possession from Canadore. And another point for the Panthers. And they're starting to run away with this one.
Yeah, they didn't have the closest first set, and this second set looking like it's going to turn into that. Another excellent service.
Arias forces a free ball. Joust won once again, Canadore.
8-point game. Cochran already used one of his timeouts. Like we stated. Sorry, what were we going to say?
Can't afford to really use that second one there, at least for another good few points. Need to get to that 20-point mark before you can really justify it.
Yeah. That's another block. Oh, my. Wow.
And there's the timeout.
Dwayne Cochran very upset with his team. Very upset. And he was watching. Sorry.
Instead of calling him in there nicely, all he said was, "Get over here." So certainly not pleased.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just unimpressed with the lack of effort or the results, but it hasn't been the best from the boys today in Durham. And Dwayne Cochran, this is his 5th set in a row where you're looking at a loss. They lost 3-0 yesterday, lost the first set today, and they're on track to lose this one. He's not impressed. It's going to take some leadership on court. Dwayne Cochran can't be the voice of reason every single time. It's got to be Jalen Arias leading them here.
Well, you can hear the difference in how they're going right now.
Yeah, it's just a chemistry issue, maybe. Look at how hyped the Canadore team is compared to the Durham Lords bench. Hendry gets up all the way, almost gets the point.
Free ball over. Arias, and out it goes. Just flies wide from Polion.
And Dwayne Cochran's going to have no option but to let them play this one out.
Say he's burned both of his timeouts, and Begg has been back there for at least 10 points, and eventually his run had to come to a close.
Yeah, once upon a time ago, this game was 10-10 until Begg stepped up. Polion, you'd love to see the same results from him. Rattle off a couple of points.
The Lords need 9 to tie this up. You know, you don't normally expect 10-0 runs, and
that touch coming from the Panthers, I believe.
They're calling it just the base of his forearm there, hit onto the net. We're having a great time discussing here.
A little confusion.
Did they card the coach? Wow.
Okay. First yellow card that I've personally seen. And you're up 20-12 and up a set. You don't really see a yellow coming out for a coach.
Say,
I think we're all good to go here. Shane Polion here. Maybe that sparks the Lord's comeback here. There you go. You get an ace.
and not going their way now. Canadore need to get a roll on 3 points in a row for Durham. Still a healthy cushion from the Panthers. And another big shot there. That one, Halen Eddles once again.
Yeah, that's unlucky there.
Walking in another first-year Liam Nakogi, and he's up to serve.
Yeah, these are his first minutes of the game today.
Holy power out of that serve. And just caught off guard there. Begg has been in this almost pseudo-libero role when he's in the backcourt, but not quite able to get to that one. The difference is 7. Jack Hendry. A little bit of a floater. And goodness gracious, Khaled Bryant.
Yeah, not much you can do there. Bryant just flying up.
Delivered it right into the pot for the Lords.
You need a spark here. You got to get this first point right here.
Mallerby, good serve. Arias tips it. And another reach.
Yeah, it's just got to be better. The first bump, it's got to stay on your side there. 2 points away from being up 2-0.
And that one overdone. Durham down 8. Eric, is the comeback there? Like, you need a miracle.
You're gonna need Liam Gould to be serving for the next couple of minutes here.
No doubt about it.
They're at the 15-point mark like they did last set.
And Arias tried to wrap himself around the post there and just wasn't quite able to get it.
And they might unluckily finish with 15 yet again in back-to-back sets. But who knows? Maybe the Lords have a comeback in them right now.
Good serve from Sedlick, and he's got it there. Back-to-back sets have ended on service aces for Canadore. And that's another big set win, 25-15, both sets. Durham reeling. They need to get themselves back into this for a third set. Get themselves back in motion. We got Lord's musical chairs going on here. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. When we come back, we'll take a quick look around the OCAA, and we'll get everything rolling here. Be right back.
Plan.
And welcome back, third set action. Durham Lords, Canadore Panthers. Panthers up 2-0, looking to complete the sweep. And Durham not looking to let them have any of it as they take this opening point.
One thing you see from the Panthers, they got number 15, Halen Etlis, sitting on the bench. He has been a key part. So, you know, maybe you go see what your bench can do here if you're the Panthers head coach. Arias, excellent service. Ace for Jalen Arias.
Arias stepping up. Big shot. Joust, one out. And a misplay. That was our in-house saying, you can't do that. That sounds about right. And Durham up 3-0. I don't know what Coach Cochran said to them, but it certainly seems to have had an effect to start us off.
Yeah, looks like he just lit a fire under his team. Who knows? Maybe it was Jalen Arias who's starting us off here. Unlucky.
Just caught the top of the block and meant to miss from both Ravi Hunter and Jalen Arias, who are both covering each other on that, but had the initial read, not the one off a tip.
Wow.
Wow, what a shot. Wow. Couple positional changes, and it's all been thrown out the window. Felix, good serve, kept alive, Canadore. Shot from that first-year rookie. And sent back. Hello once again, Conrad Sedlick. Big serve. Response from Durham. With power, no less. Shane Polion, hello, welcome to the court.
What I love about this game is just the sheer emotion. You get a point, and you just let your entire team hear it from you. I love
Polion.
it.
Quick set, Joust, won by Durham. And Canadore forced free ball. Set, Lund sneaks it through. Durham is back at it.
They're really benefiting right now from number 15, Halen Etlis, being out of the game. Hearing a lot of screams here that are not affecting Shane Polion.
Great touch there, Jalen Arias. Free ball, Doucette. Tip, one out by Durham. And laser beam coming out of Mallerby. And an even better block, Owen Lund.
Early timeout here from the Panthers. Wow. You don't expect an early timeout too often.
Well, we saw one early from Durham in the last set. You know, you're worried about going down big time. But in this one, Durham seems to have flipped the script. They might have figured out the Panthers, at least in this early bit. We'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe they didn't have the pregame scouting report, and now they're, you know, learning on the fly. Up 7-2, wow. Considering they've only scored 15 points in the first two sets each, 7-2 is a pretty good pace for the Lords here. But you know, as the Panthers do, they're going to ring off a couple points in a row. You just can't get discouraged, and you got to continue on.
Got to keep fighting back through it, and the Panthers are still having a good time on the bench.
Yeah, I just saw number 10 getting spun around, Dennis Lapos.
Polion. Tipped up and in, out. What are we doing over on the line, Judge? But final ruling is it goes out.
Just having a fun time waving her flag around, it looks like, over there.
Polion, round 2. Tip, 1 out. Durham kept alive. It's Will Doucette this time. And shanks that one. Looking to serve here, Sean Mallerby. Up and over. Great dig there, Hunter off the block. Doucette off that one. And calling the captains. Do we have an official ruling? They're just going to call to redo the point.
I don't fully know what happened.
Well, there was initial call there was probably what should have been 4-touch on Durham, back because it didn't touch a Panther.
Okay.
So, but then it also went out and Doucette would have got the point, but neither side would have been particularly impressed.
Okay, so just a reserve, you know?
Yeah.
Favors the Panthers there.
That it most definitely does, and that point all the same. Mallory setting up for it. His team's down 4, needs some points.
Wow.
And a bad read, Doucette.
I thought for sure that was going to go out, but
big shot response from Hunter. Tipped Arias.
yeah, I believe he touched that over on the other side.
Yeah.
He did that a couple of times as well in the first 2 sets. And this one, right as we look, it's now 8-6 instead of 8-2.
Arias made contact with the net. And the set for Lund. Finds the pot, but a good dive. Great touch from Hunter, and it's kept alive. Lund puts it over. This time the response coming fast and furious. Mason Begg. He's all there for this Canadore squad. Good roll, Arias. Doucette. Overdone.
Wow, he's had a couple of those where it's gone out of bounds. If you're Dwayne Cochran here, you gotta maybe think about your timeout. 6 points in a row.
And that serve out.
You see the women's volleyball team dancing, having a great time after their win earlier on today.
Arias. Doucette gets blocked. And they snipe the official.
Jalen Arias looked like he was begging the ref for something there. I don't
think that was begging his apologies.
Yeah, I think realistically, if there's no ref there, I think he makes that play. Unlucky, out of bounds. Canadore has the lead.
And 9-10, the lead finally flipped. Overdone, tie game, 10-10. Number 16, Will Doucette. Another one overdone. Service errors plaguing these teams.
Yeah, that one was really close, but Will Doucette, he's had a couple unforced errors in this set. Just a little unlucky from him.
Bryant. Doucette. Arias. Felix. Stuffed.
Yeah, and he got all the way up there. I'm shocked he didn't put that one down. Wow.
Well, he floats up there for a good while, but no difference. And the point still goes to the Panthers. And it's Khalid Bryant again. And misplay, Jack Hendry.
Unlucky there from Jack Hendry. Dwayne Cochran, you got to think about taking your timeout soon. I think 1 or 2 more points. You go down 5, you take your timeout.
Lund.
Definitely a nut touch, yeah. There you go. Good job from the Lords.
Say regardless, he missed the ball entirely, so even if it wasn't a net touch.
Yeah.
Lund. That's not an ace?
Yeah, I thought that one touched the ground there, but nobody, I don't see much complaining, I guess. So maybe you and I are just wrong. Arias.
Set. Felix stuffed. Arias finds the pot.
What a dump there from Jalen Arias.
And Canadore had the read on that out of hand.
Unlucky there from the Lords. Yet another service error. I don't know how many times we've said that today.
Felix sneaks it through. He's got it.
There you go. Jonas Felix powers his way through. It's just a beautiful day, huh? You got some NFL on and you got some Lords on. Just an amazing day of sports.
Arias. Overdone.
Yet again, if you're Dwayne Cochran, me personally, I'm having one practice where we are serving every time. Every service fault, you're running. That's my opinion.
And update out of Sudbury with the Knights and with the Niagara Knights and the Boreal Vipers. Niagara 3-1 final score out there. Humber Fanshawe 1-1. They're in the third. Humber leads the third set 6-4.
Jonas Felix, another service error. Yep, I'm having a service practice. This is, if I'm both teams, I'm practicing serving.
We're spending the whole day. Nothing but serves, all of you.
Yeah, I'd even do a joint practice. I don't care. If I'm the coaches, I'm getting together. We're working on this.
the speed that Arias spun around there to try and make sure that he could make that play if it slipped over. But it comes back at him. And the gap is 1. Canadore the advantage. Polion serves. And sneaks through there, Colette Bryant.
If you're Owen Lund, not much you can really do there. He just gets up so high. Mallerby, he was the one that came up when it was 8-2 and brought the game to 8-8. (18-15) Lords, you need to get something going right now.
Doucette sets cross courts. Stuffed again. Colette Bryant, he's got at least a dozen total points today. And finally, a timeout, Lords. Down by 4, 19-15.
And it's just a mental health day. You know, if you're feeling down, reach out to anyone, you know. But on that note, the Lords, they started out 8-2, and this set has turned on their head. It's been an unlucky one here today for the men's team. On the bright side, the women's team, they did an excellent job winning in 4 sets, huh? They've looked unstoppable as of late.
Well, they haven't dropped many sets at all this year, totaling now to 7 in regular season play after that game. And Durham, they're in a good spot over for the women's side. For the men's, need to claw themselves, make sure they don't fall to 500 in this one.
Yeah, it's sort of very difficult to miss the playoffs. But so these teams, they're looking good to make the playoffs. But if you're the Lords men's team, you want a high seeding. You don't want to miss out on facing one of the lower ranked teams. Playoffs, I believe, is top 8 in each conference, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
And I think there's only 9 or 10 teams. So realistically, if you're not getting in, you got to look in the mirror. Jonas Felix, good bump there. Lund gets a point. Lords are within 3.
Jack Hendry goes at it. And he's got it on the back line. Came down just in time. See, a bad thing about getting a yellow card in volleyball is when you're looking at it, you can't make any kind of real talk to the officials. You can't risk getting a red because you'll be sitting out multiple games.
Yeah, and we got a timeout from the Panthers. Yeah, getting that yellow, you know, it could be a wake-up call, but I didn't really understand it. You were up 20-12. It was just 1 point. Sure, you want to make your point, but obviously you're not getting a yellow if you just ask the ref politely. He must have overstepped his bounds.
And Durham, 3-point run there to close that gap. So Canadore want to make sure that Durham doesn't get their footing here, snuff out any kind of momentum before it really gets going. But Coach Dwayne Cochran, he said something in that locker room at that second set break. And should be all green here.
Yeah, I mean, they only scored 15 in the first 2 sets, so Dwayne Cochran definitely motivated his boys here. We'll see how they respond after the Panthers timeout.
Moving in the right direction, bare minimum, it's Jack Hendry. Set tip, sneaks by the block. And free ball from Doucette. Shot laser had the quick set, but Durham come away with it there. Wow. I will admit, the song choice after everything is impressively relevant to what actually happened in the play.
Yeah, and that's just what Abby does. She's a true pro. Out of bounds. Point to the Lords. They got their lead yet again. Yeah, our in-house announcer, my apologies. She is one of a kind.
And another good serve. Hendry has been back there for so long, and Durham keep it alive again. Back set, shot, trying to kill the run. Eventually gets away with it. Jonas Felix just about had the tracking down, just wasn't quite fast enough to get there.
Yeah, good job there from Jack Hendry. Getting the dig, but just a little unsuccessful.
20-20 the score. Durham a chance to force a fourth set. And that'll be how you start it at least. 4 points to go. Down 1 are the Panthers. Checking in, Will Doucette goes out, number 1. Jack Paradis.
A little bit of a height difference. You go from Will Doucette to Matt Paredes, so we'll see. Line out of bounds, unlucky.
Lords didn't quite get what they were looking for. You gotta imagine without that net presence from Will Doucette, maybe a little bit of a difference in style of play from Durham, and you have to wonder, will that come back to bite them?
Yeah, and one name I haven't seen in a while, Sidney Stewart. He sort of has been invisible since the first set. He had a couple service errors.
He hasn't been in.
Yeah. He had a couple service errors. Maybe Coach Dwayne Cochran maybe sitting him for those. I don't fully know.
Lunn.
Paredes, good volley. Area's dump.
Wow, what a play. Durham, opportunity knocking.
I feel the Lords, you'd like to finish them off here. You don't even want to give them a chance.
Owen Lunn clips the tape, and he's got the ace. Set point for Durham. And substitution here. In goes Dennis Lapos, and out goes Spencer Corson. Going at it again, chance to finish it off here. Owen Lunn. Good opening touch. Set. Fires. The dump kept alive. Canadore doing a good job of it. And didn't move his hand out of the way in time. Jack Hendry, and a point to Canadore as they try and force this to go to extras. And the set. Jonas Felix a chance to finish it. Not going to get there. Counter shot. Good. Sean Mallory once again.
What a play there.
One point the difference now. They need another here to force the extra, or else Durham's forces us to 4. Arias just about had that joust won out. Durham, the kill. Durham, the point. And Durham, set 4. Here we go. Three minutes on the clock. We're gonna send you guys over to hear the stadium here starting to get moving, and we'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone, to the fourth set. Durham forced it off an outstanding rally to end that third set. Canadore, of course, taking the first two, 25-15. Durham winning the third, 25-23.
They gave that point to Canadore. Huh. Interesting. Wildu said a little bit of a low volley. And that's unstoppable right there. That's Sean Mallerby yet again. One person we didn't see in the last set was Halen Edlis for the Panthers. So back out here. What a floater. Bullion. Oh.
3 has to go over. It does so. And big shot. Durham trying to get their first points, but gonna call a net touch. That one on Jonas Felix.
I feel like Jonas Felix has had a couple net touches today. Quick service.
Trying to catch Durham off guard. Just about did so. And shot returned. Arias, free ball coming out of Durham. Tip sent up. Hunter. Shot sent back. But out. And no good. A point to Durham. And Felix trying to keep tempo.
Quick serve
And
right
just
back.
about caught him. If that had any kind of real oomph behind it, they would have been in deep trouble.
Yeah, these two teams, I don't know, they're getting a little cheeky with each other. I think.
And another point, Lords. Didn't quite touch the net. He got real close.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked they didn't call that. Wow. The way that they've called it against the Lords today.
And put up and back down. Welcome back, Spencer Corsten.
Excellent service. They get the ball back. That's literally what you want to do on a service. Force them to.
And a point, Durham.
Yeah, right into the net. I think Mason Begg is asking for a call, but. Or maybe he's just stunned that he messed that one up a little bit.
And another one off the tape and back. Durham, they're willing themselves back into this thing.
Yeah, if they force a fifth set, this one could be a good one. Nice volley there from Felix.
Set shot, another one. Good there, Halen Edels, apologies.
We're a couple points into our fourth set here. Humber and Fanchar not even wrapped up their third yet.
And another big shot, Durham. Looking pretty good right now. Just got the point. Going to serve is Jack Hendry.
A lot of the Lords fans are really into this one today.
Hendry. Overdone.
Very
Couple
close.
inches the difference there.
Yeah, very, very close.
And nice roll there coming out of Mallerby, but will do set. Bang. Is the only thing you can say to that one.
Yeah, just the sheer power. Like, you can't really blame the Panthers for not being able to control that one.
Doucette. Overdone. Are we going to be in service error hell again?
Yeah, hopefully we don't just trade that. I'd like to see some. I'd like to see some volleyball be played. You know.
Conrad Sedlick. Response from Revi Hunter is put back to Canadore. And Durham keep it alive.
Believe that was on the wrong side of the antenna. They still get the point nonetheless.
They're going to give it to him.
But the thing with him, with Bryant, he doesn't even use that much power. He just gets up so high and just brings it down with him. It's a very interesting technique.
Joust won by Arias, but flies clear, and it's a point Durham. Canadore. Rip it off the top. Felix to the backcourt, kept alive. And tipped over. Felix off the block. Arias! The setter's got some power.
You don't tend to see that too much from Jalen Arias, but there you go, right there.
Definitely had some zip. Off the block, Arias. And once again, we're going to send it right back. It's Begg. This time, Doucette from the back. Begg. Free ball over from Mallerby. Doucette. Arias.
Yep, point to the Lords. Definitely reached over there.
And you got to wonder at this point, is Canadore maybe falling apart at the seams?
Yeah, this might be a choke, but they get a point right there as we speak. Another service error.
And serving here, Khaled Bryant. Doucette gets it off the initial touch, and Felix is going to try and turn it into a little extra something.
Poor pass in there from the Canadore Panthers coach.
Off the front of the ref stand, no good. Khaled Bryant. And hammered down from Halen Eddles. Khaled Bryant. And that one sails wide.
A little bit of dancing there from the girls team. Dancing Queen being played by our in-arena announcer. Excellent service. He has so much power on his service.
Back set. Felix. Arias wins it back, and Durham put it over. Off the top, and it's good.
Just move that entire net with the power on that spike.
Serving here, Spencer Corsten. No issue. Big shot off the block, and it's a point. Durham, 13-13, tying it up.
This set's going to come right down to it. I could see a win by 2 situation.
So there's a real possibility we go into extras here. And that one there was Begg. Round 2 for him. And that one's good. And both Arias and Doucette had a chance to try and put that one up. Neither of them could really get a good handle on it. And this was bad news bears last time Begg got behind the line. 10 points was that run. If they do it again, you consider this one a wrap.
Yeah.
Begg out of the back court. And
They
kept
can save
alive,
that
Durham.
one.
They got to get it up and over. They do. The Lords put it back. Canadore. Felix kept alive. Arias. Doucette. He's got it.
That's a character point for the Lords right there. I thought they were out of it on 2 separate occasions right there, and they somehow come away with the point.
Very, very well done. And up to bat was Polion, who buries it in the net.
And that's what you can't do. You get a character point right there. You show a little heart, and then you put the ball into the net on the service. It's just unlucky.
Big shot, bigger block. Khaled Bryant. Stuffed at the net. Hal and Eddles there. Nails it in the net. Jack Hendry. Overhead there.
Bryant flew for that one. Just couldn't find him in the right spot.
Jack Hendry to serve in a 16-16 set. Make it 16-17 for the Canadore Panthers. And that one no good.
We saw the substitution happen last set. Matt Paredes rocking the sneakers that are different colors.
Got to run the mismatch. You never know.
Nice little style. Nice little style.
Back set the shot. Sent right at Matt Paredes. And catches him entirely off guard.
Yeah, not much Matt can do. You know, you're coming in, it's your first play, and you get like a 100-mile-per-hour rocket right at you.
Sedlick. Arias tips it over. And no good there. Hunter puts it up. Shot off the block, kept alive, not quite. Another point to add on to the tally for Mason Begg. And kept up. And free ball over from Arias.
Oh, wow. Point to the Lawrence eye.
Wow.
I thought that one was in. You got to be careful if you're Canadore here, though. You don't want to get a yellow or even a red from the coach.
Say not worth the fight. And overdone.
Wow.
Lead of 2 for the Panthers. 5 points away from closing it out. Colette Bryant. Over, no issue. Felix.
Lords are begging for a touch right there.
The Lord's bench signaling for some VAR there. And, you know, sadly, we're not that lucky to have it unless they want to try and pull up the stream.
Yeah, I mean, you know, feel free. Listen to two beautiful men in me and Etienne.
And another one overdone from Durham.
And this one's starting to get away from the Lords. Reel it in. Good timeout here from Dwayne Cochran.
3 points to go for Canadore. You got to imagine if they make it to that match point, you're going to see that second timeout fall out here. And for Canadore, you're just hoping that you can hold on to this long enough because they had a issue. They choked away the last set. You could say choked away there, but maybe that's not quite the right word. But
I don't know. I feel like they should have won the last set, Canadore. But so we could use choke, maybe fumble, maybe they threw an interception, like C.J. Stroud is right now. But yeah. So you know, we'll see how they can handle it this time around. They got a 4-point lead, so should be a good enough cushion for the Panthers. But who knows, man? This Lords team's got a lot of fight, and the crowd, the women's team has brought a lot of energy. That could give them some new life in this game.
And Canadore making their way back. Colette Bryant, he's been back there for a little bit now. One touch, back over.
If you're the Lords, you got to get Colette off that service line. Good save there from Ravi Hunter.
Begg. Tries it. And Durham walk away with that one. They cut the lead to 3. Jalen Arias. Stepping up. Good shot. Back set catches Durham off guard. Slides just over the net.
That was Spencer Corsten. And he didn't even hug his boys there. He means straight business right now. He wants to finish this one off.
Corsten. Nice floater. And out.
Lords are begging for a deflection call. And this is game point.
Game point. Durham, everything on the line, and Felix lines it up. Will Doucette back in action.
Jonas Felix at the line here. He's got to ring off the next couple of points or the Lord's night is over.
Jonas Felix. Service ace. Splits that back line in two. And a timeout, Canadore.
This is a safety timeout here. You know, you choked the last game away. You got to make sure you're all good here.
Canadore trying to draw something up here. They know that they can end this. One good play is all it takes. Set up or not. All it takes is one. And for Durham, they got to go 5, 6 in a row to force their way into that 5th and final set.
Yeah, and this is going to take a lot from Durham to get to the 5th set and then win the 5th set. It's going to be a tall task. But Jonas Felix, he's out there. He's waiting. He's ready. He's all business right now. We'll see what he can do, the dual sport athlete.
Jonas Felix rings it up, rings it good, and make it another. Felix closing the gap.
I hear people calling out Jonas' name in the crowd. Good dig
And
there from
kept
Jonas.
up. Durham wins the joust. Canadore looking to keep it alive, keep it free. Hunter,
They need this one right here.
Free ball set back. Durham an opportunity. Get this thing right off Will Doucette's hit. And a point, Durham.
I don't fully know what they called. I don't think Mason Begg can fully fathom what they called either. And they're 1 point off tying this one.
Good serve. Kept up, set to the far side. There's laser beam to finish him off. Sean Mallerby. He's got that one in spades. And the clutch there from the Panthers. They walk away from it. 23-25 the score of the last two sets. Of course, one going each way. And Durham walk away 1-1 on the day. The women's walking away 3-1. The men's losing 3-1. Of course, next home game here, Wednesday the 28th, will be taking on the Seneca Sting. That'll be a extremely meaningful matchup for this women's side.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. You know, if you're free, you got to come down and you got to catch that game.
And that's all she wrote for today. Myself, ATN Skitch, beside me, Damon Huser, and Eric Huser. Man, I saw your brother right there and it screwed me up.
No, it's okay. We're the same person.
And for everyone here on the broadcast, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.